Hello everyone. In this video we will be taking a look at single phase full bridge inverter. So let's start with the circuit diagram. If you carefully observe, the difference that we saw from the previous video is that we have a simple single power supply with 2-wire configuration, whereas in a half bridge inverter we required a 3-wire configuration, isn't it? And we are considering 4 switches T1, T2, T3, D4 and 4 freewheeling diodes or flywheel diodes, that is D1, D2, D3 and D4. For our simpler analysis, we are going to consider a resistive load in this case. So fundamentally, by definition, we know that inverters are circuit that basically converts DC input voltage to variable AC output voltage. So to achieve variable AC output voltage, we can do that in two methods, that is by varying the supply voltage or by varying the switching off the thyristors T1 to T4 in a specific fashion, that is called as PWM technique, which we'll be discussing later. By doing that, we can achieve fixed or variable output voltage at the output side. Now you might be having a question as how this DC is converted to AC. So let's keep things simple as usual. Like the way we analyze the circuit, let's consider at mode 1 what happens, that is 0 between t less than t by 2. Basically, if we consider one full cycle, half of the cycle is what we are going to consider as mode 1. So during this case, what happens is we have T1 and T2, which is going to be going to on state. Basically, I'm going to give a pulse to thyristor T1 and T2, and what happens immediately is that we will be having the power or the current flowing from the source in this direction, and it returns back to the source. Consequently, all the other switches are turned off because I'm not going to trigger T3 and T4, and I'm going to consider this A and B, these 2 points, as the output voltage point, that is across the load, which is resistive in this case. So what is going to happen? You're going to get a positive output voltage, that is nothing but you will be getting V out to be equal to Vs. How is that possible? Because Vs is directly connected at this point, isn't it? It is positive at A and negative is connected to B. So V out is equal to Vs. So since there is no other power consuming components from the source to the load, it is just a short circuit. Basically, it is a switch. So you'll be getting V out is equal to Vs. Now, let's parallelly also try to understand the waveforms. So in this case, we're going to give a pulse. You can call this as IG1 or IG2 as well. I'm just mentioning as gate 1 and gate 2 over here. So whenever there is a pulse like this, you're basically trying to turn on the thyristor T1 and T2. So consequently, what will happen? What will be the output voltage? So output voltage will just be equal to Vs because T1 and T2 is conducting. So the waveform is same for I out as well. So I'm not actually drawing it again, but for analysis purpose you can draw it separately as well. Now we understood what happens from 0 to t by 2, that is from this interval, that is 0 to t by 2, we know what is the expected output voltage. Now what happens from t by 2 to t, that is from t by 2 to the total time period t at this point, what will be the output that we are going to get. So at this instant, what we will be doing is we will be giving a gate pulse to thyristor 3 and 4, and consequently T1 and T2 will be turned off. So this is a very important point. We will be turning off T1 and T2, and then we will be turning on T3 and T4. So consequently what happens? The power starts flowing from the source to the load in this direction, that is from T3 and then T4 and then back to the source. Basically B will be positive because it is connected to Vs, and A will be negative as it is connected to minus. So you will be getting V out to be equal to minus Vs in this case, isn't it? So as a result, you'll be having output voltage to go in the minus negative direction, and the current also will follow the same path because it is a resistive load, isn't it? So you'll be getting minus Vs for the conduction of T3 and T4. Consequently, again what I will be doing in the next cycle, T3 and T4 will be turned off, and again T1 and T2 will be turned on. Again the cycle repeats. You'll be getting a waveform like this. So now you might be having a question as what is the purpose of the flywheel diodes D1, D2, D3, D4, because we have just drawn them from a circuit point of view, but we have not considered the working or operation of those being used in the circuit, isn't it? So the requirement of that is needed when you're having a inductive load. Basically, if you have a resistor and an inductor or only inductor, that is where the flywheeling or freewheeling nature will be taking place through the diodes, which we will be taking a look at in the future videos. But right now, for simpler analysis, since it's a resistive load, D1, D2, D3, D4 does not play any role in this particular circuit. So now you might be having a question as how is DC converted to AC? So if you look at the waveform, you have a DC which is a constant voltage as the source. You have a AC which is periodically varying like a square wave. So this is basically a square wave inverter. So you have DC fixed input voltage converted to AC. So the output voltage can be controlled by changing the value of the supply voltage Vs or by changing the range, that is in this case we triggered them from 0 to T by 2 and then T by 2 to T, isn't it? By fluctuating the duration in which T1 and T2 are conducting and T3 and T4 are conducting, we can achieve a variable voltage, which is basically a PWM technique, which we will be taking a look at in the future videos. So for simpler analysis, this is how we can consider the operation. I hope this video gave you a clear understanding. In case you have any questions, feel free to reach out by typing in your questions in the comment sections below. Thank you.